Shut up and sit down.
Hello and welcome to NerdDians Levels of Ridiculousness podcast. I'm your host, Ozpin, and I'm joined by my co-host and buddy, DK.
Yoish, DK.
DK. Levels of Ridiculousness or LoR is a show dedicated to our conversations on all things nerd. We touch on a wide variety of subjects and feature a different main discussion topic every week. This week's main topic is Gundam, some of our favorite mobile suit designs.
Of course.
Because we like Gundam.
There's a lot of Gundams. Who doesn't? It is a man's romance to be in a mech.
But that's where we, a lot of anime fans get their start with Gundam. It's very, there for a long time it was very accessible. And it's still accessible. Even though Bandai Entertainment went over here.
Yeah, in America.
Yeah, which was a shame.
Very big shame. It was around here too, wasn't it?
It was. It was in, I think it was in Houston.
Yep.
In
Texas.
A ridiculous amount of anime, including Funimation, Aniplex. They're all here in Texas.
Yep. Aniplex is in Dallas.
As is Rooster Teeth. Rooster Teeth is here, I believe, in Houston.
We need to go stalking. That's a joke.
There are some
No,
we're having the conversation now. There are some very attractive voice actors that work for Rooster Teeth.
God, you went full creep.
Yeah,
okay.
no, hey, how you doing? I'm Ozpin.
But BDK, the nice human.
But yeah.
I got a new cat, and now I can't stop saying my cat says human.
He's been doing baby talk. It's adorable.
Shut up.
But before we get into the Gundam discussion, we're going to go ahead and talk about NerdDom channel updates, which... Go ahead and tell them what you got. Well, they may have already noticed.
Yeah, as you can tell, the audio is 1,000 times better, and you can actually hear my real voice instead of a computerized mishmash of bullshit. So, yeah, new mic.
We got a new mic.
Blue Yeti.
It's a very good mic. Listen. Oh, yeah.
On top of that, I got an external drive, so I will no longer be losing files.
Yeah, we've actually lost a couple of episodes of LoR, which I'm very sad about. Because I wanted a hard copy of each episode.
Yeah, we lost episode 2 and 0.
Yeah, the lost episodes.
Yeah. If we ever find those, I'm going to release them as that.
Yeah. But,
other than updates, everything's on hiatus except for fun facts and podcasts.
Yeah, we've got the, our schedules suck right now, and frankly, real life comes before...
Hobbies.
Your nerdy podcasts. That being said, I love doing the podcast, but schedules got to line up, so...
And we do thank you for, listening in. It's nice to have y'all here.
Oh, yeah. The fact that anyone's willing to listen to our...
Rambling.
Yeah. Our completely insane opinions is baffling to me. But, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you! Yes! You are completely baffling, but thank you for being baffling.
You are a mysterious creature and you are awesome.
But yeah, the channel is basically going to consist of fun facts on Mondays and Fridays, and a podcast running about an hour long on Wednesdays.
And a stream here and there.
Yeah, for the foreseeable future, that is what our structure is going to look like.
So that's about it. Streaming, I'll do as much as I can. I will be streaming, actually, the day this podcast comes out, towards the night. Metal Gear Solid. So, hope you guys can join.
Cool. Yeah, then I guess we're going to move straight into what we've been up to. What do you have to talk about?
I bought stuff and worked too hard.
You bought some D&D minis, didn't you?
Yes, I bought a dozen D&D minis. They're really cool because I went on Troll and Toad. We're not sponsored, but they're awesome.
Yeah, it's a very good website.
I bought about $70 worth of minis, which hurt me. But
That hurt me, and I was just watching.
I needed the minis, and they are impeccably awesome. I have a new place where I'm going to spend my extra money. And then I bought this mic, so it's going. What have you been up to?
I've been watching a variety of things, including Stranger Things 2.
Finally finished it?
I finished it. I was 4 episodes in, and I burned through the rest of it in one night.
Hey, it sounds like me.
Very good.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
That prom scene, man.
Yeah. I really like the Jonathan character.
Yeah.
He and... what's her name?
Nancy?
Nancy didn't get a lot of screen time this season. But I feel like they got plenty of character development.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan of them, and now I'm a really big fan of... what's his name? The jock.
I don't know.
I'm not good with names.
Me either. But did you know that guy that plays Jonathan and girl that plays Nancy are actually dating in real life?
Really?
Yep, they were going before the show, I believe.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Even before the show, so there you go. Chemistry was real.
I got a couple of minis, too. I got in on that order that DK did.
He bought death, and he's going to use it on us in his game. And I'm scared. Please send help.
I need help. I'm being held against my will.
I prefer a 20th level paladin.
That'd be
helpful.
My address is 123 help. But yeah, I got a death mini, which I was expecting to be about the size of a normal miniature.
But it's a large one.
Yeah, it turns out it's large.
And then you got Dollahan.
Yeah, I got a Dollahan, and that's a pretty
Horseman.
cool looking mini. But besides that, with the minis, I've been keeping up with Orville and Ruby.
I have neither.
Fair enough.
I've been busy.
Both shows are still
Tracking
running strong.
Cool.
Ruby's one of my favorite things as ever. Orville's better than anything Star Trek has done in the last couple of years.
That's good.
What else have you been up to? Anything?
I have nothing. I've been reading light novels.
Cool.
I've been rereading Death March.
Oh yeah, I know you mentioned that.
I found out not too long ago that it's going to have a anime adaptation of it coming out early next year in winter, 2018. So I am losing my shit over it because it is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, light novel. So I'm excited about that.
Cool.
And I'm pre-gaming. I'm binge reading.
Awesome. You recommended that to me, so I may have to dip into it.
Yeah, you read the light novel. It is fascinatingly amazing.
Cool.
At this point, we're on chapter 16, but it's like 1,200 pages or more. There's a lot.
Damn. What's that one that's really annoying you?
Oh,
because it's only like 15 pages every 3 months or something like that.
Oh yeah, my guilty pleasure and thorn in my side is Unordinary. That's what it's called. It's a webtoon, and they're starting to pick up to where it's monthly or bi-weekly, apparently.
That's better.
But for the longest time, it was once every few months or a month or two.
I could not even do that.
It hurts.
I could not even do that.
So that's about basically what I've been up to.
Okay. I got one more thing that I can mention. So when I was in school, there were a couple of books that I really liked that stand out to me in my memory. One of which was the Midnighters trilogy. Very goth, teenager, emo, superpower kid book.
As you were and as you wished you were.
But another one was Maximum Ride.
Okay.
Which I enjoyed sincerely. For those of you who aren't familiar with Maximum Ride, it is a series of books focusing on human-avian hybrids basically children who were raised in a lab whose DNA was spliced with that of birds.
Oh, God.
So each one of them has the special characteristics of unique birds. The main character's name being Maximum Ride. I watched the movie.
That is the stupidest name.
Her name's Max.
Okay.
I forget there is a justification in the book given for why her name is Maximum Ride.
Okay.
But the heck if I
So
remember.
the movie.
So I saw the movie on Netflix.
I bet you're depressed.
I'm offended by the way they treated the Ari character, who I always pronounced his name Arai. For those who have read the book, who are interested in seeing a live-action adaptation of Maximum Ride, there is a film on Netflix called Maximum Ride, and they don't do very well with adapting some of the characters in that. I like Iggy. They did a good job with adapting Iggy. He's not exactly what he's supposed to look like, but he's not exactly behavior-wise perfect, but he's stoic.
They're butchering it like they did Death Note, so...
Oh, they're doing it worse than Death Note. I'm sure that Death Note had some redeeming qualities to it, even though I've yet to see it. I want to sit down and see it. Now that I know it's a movie instead of a series,
Okay.
I will sit down and watch the Death Note movie. Maximum Ride... They made Ari like this weird sadistic torturer. You know?
I have no idea.
I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but some of the listeners might if they read the books. Like, yes, the Maximum Ride series got to the point where it became very uncomfortably preachy. Like, the whole point of one of the books was environmental awareness.
Wow.
It jumped the shark hard, but like the first 3 books were still stomachable.
Okay.
I really liked the Ari character, or Ari. Like, they call him Ari in the movie. I always called him Ari.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, they call him Ong when it's Aang. Why? Just read.
M. Night Shyamalan was trying to be culturally sensitive toward culture that didn't actually exist.
That was very insensitive.
That's the answer. Is he was trying to be respectful of Asian culture when that's not what Avatar had in it.
I'll tell you what it was. Is that he didn't freaking know the source content at all.
He knew the source content. He sat down and he watched the show. But he just had this weird idea in his head that it's like, I want to be respectful toward the culture. But
that was made up.
He missed the point, yes,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And in that regard, he missed the point.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, Maximum Ride. Netflix, people. They butcher Ari. I won't call him Ari. So past that. I'm moving on. I'm getting over it. Nerd news.
Yeah.
Go ahead and hit me. I'm pretty sure you have an Overwatch thing.
Okay, so as a lot of you may or may not know, am a big Overwatch guy. I've been able to play it recently. I have played comps before and gotten into the silver brackets, which are tough. Yeah, real tough. But there's going to be a fourth. They're beta testing a 4th map called Blizzard World, which is going to be really cool.
Blizzard World?
Yes, it's like Disney World. The IPs that
I kind of like where this is going. Tell me I can kill people with roller coasters.
Essentially, it is like World of Warcraft. Anything that Blizzard has control over, Hearthstone, all of them are going to have little bits of land there to where it's that themed that way.
Oh my gosh.
So they're literally tooting their own horn, and it's glorious. And
we'll see. We'll see if it's glorious.
It's the 4th wall opening, which is...
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
And
at least they're aware.
I'm losing my mind for it because it has a lot of IPs, like Azeroth, Testrium, and just the Corporal sector, I believe is what it was called. It's just so much. We're gonna actually get like maybe a World of Warcraft type zone there. That'd be cool to play in all your other Blizzard games.
That'd be interesting.
Shooting people up.
PlayStation Network
or
had
punching people up depending on who you're playing.
the PlayStation Network had elements like that where you had, I think it was Hangouts, PlayStation Hangouts, where you could walk around as an avatar and play mini games, and they had maps created.
It was PlayStation Home.
It was PlayStation Home, yes.
I did that a lot.
But you could walk around and talk with people in chats as an avatar that you create. You could have like an apartment and stuff, but more to the point, there were maps created based off of current video games that were popular that you could walk around still as your avatar in.
Oh yeah, I
and
played
get
that
exclusive
a lot.
items.
I played it a lot.
Yeah. That was interesting. It's giving me that kind of vibe. Only with Overwatch and shooting people. But yeah,
Don't worry, love. Cavalry's here.
Oh, Tracer.
I know, that's why I have her on my wall.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's that. I do want to just make a side note. This isn't an actual story by itself. Not too long ago, last Tuesday, the Japanese voice actor Hiromi, I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name, Tetsuru, passed. She was the voice actor of Bulma.
From Dragon Ball Z.
From Dragon Ball Z. More actively, Dragon Ball Super. She passed.
She was in a lot, wasn't she? Not just Dragon Ball?
Yeah, she's been in a lot.
Yeah,
she's
got
very
around.
prevalent voice actor, and she passed, so I just wanted to bring that up because that is a heavy loss to the anime community.
Yeah, that sucks.
She was in so much things. She was in Trigun.
Oh, no, really?
She's Strife in Trigun.
She was...
Meryl Strife.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, the thing about me...
I knew you would understand that Trigun is one of your favorite animes.
Like, Trigun is just... I love Trigun, but... You know, the thing about me is whenever deaths occur, like celebrity deaths and stuff like that, they tend to fly under my radar. I don't notice. I didn't know that Christopher Lee had died for a good long while until I actually found out that he had passed. I didn't know Robin Williams died until your dad told me. It was...
I understand that because, let me put it this way. You know
it sucks.
You know why this hit me so hard? Because in Metal Gear Solid, she played Naomi Hunter.
I don't know enough about Metal Gear
Solid. And Metal Gear
Solid,
Solid, the first game, she's one of the main characters. She's also in the fourth one, and it hits hard. She was very popular. She was in the Metal Gear Solid game. She's in history. That's the least we can be happy about.
Yeah, I watch dubbed anime more than I watch.
I prefer subbed, so...
Yeah, but I can appreciate losing actors and actresses from that community because it's just like over here. The actors get around.
Yeah.
You know, so if you know them from one thing, odds are you know them from a lot of other things too. So that's like losing a bunch. I'm not comparing the character death to the death of a real person. Obviously, one has so much more magnitude than the other, but it's like losing them too.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I didn't and probably never would have known this in any capacity. Sorry, I can't talk. Would have known this person in real life, but I knew them through their characters, and that loss can hit people really hard.
And I know her family will probably never even hear this, but my condolences. Yeah.
Hear or understand it.
Yeah. Well, you never know. A lot of Japanese individuals understand English to a degree.
That's fair.
Okay, so here's your story.
Yeah,
Let's cheer up.
Now I have to follow that up, and this isn't a cheery story.
Oh, wasn't.
Justice League dropped. You know,
it's not that bad.
Justice League is... You don't get to say anything till you see it. That's
either?
why I'm not saying anything until I see it, but I'm going to say that my opinion has been proven correct so far.
By hearsay.
By hearsay, but that's the point. That's all I really worried about until I see the movie for myself and formulate my own opinion, which was Justice League has been released. It is Tuesday night, the week that Justice League has been released worldwide.
Rotten Tomato score of 40.
Yes, people are very lukewarm on Justice League.
Critics are very below average.
Critics are claiming that the film it does not live up to expectations, specifically in relation to the story.
Yes.
And that's what I expected. I expected Justice League to have very good character drama, very good character portrayals by the actors, but I expected the story to suffer because they did not set it up. They didn't set it up.
I completely understand that point of view, but what I'm also would like to point out is that as of currently, the viewer input into it and rating system is at 86.
They're also looking at it like, this is just an opinion because I have
84.
Again, I've yet to see the movie. DK and I will probably be going to see the movie together at some point.
Probably before we do the next podcast.
Yeah, within the next week. And we will be able to follow this up on the next podcast. But so far as I know, people are going into Justice League with the mindset of, I'm not worried about the story. Show me some explosions and good character interactions. You know?
Which what they have in spades.
Well, we'll see.
That's from what I heard.
Yeah.
I heard, from what I've heard from multiple sources, is that the interaction between everybody's good. It's just that the story is...
Suffering. Pretty badly, from what I understand.
Well, suffering enough to where it's paramount.
DK does not like critics. DK doesn't respect... Critics. DK does not respect the opinion of critics.
I was a critic for the longest time. For about a year there. I
for
worked
what?
as a critic. It's a company that was based out in California. It was a movie surveying company, incorporation.
I did that.
But I was employed there, and my job was not to get the surveys from other people, but to have my review put in. Mm-hmm. And so I go to a movie. I had to go see Annabelle, not Annabelle, but Paranormal Activity, like the second one. It was in 2011.
Oh, poor thing.
And I hate movies.
Yeah, you hate horror.
It was a good movie. I couldn't give it a bad score or anything like that, but I was a critic. I was a literal critic for movies.
I've been paid to do stuff like that before.
But it was,
Specifically, they had like an outlet in a mall in the town where I live, where you go and they pay you to...
Opinions.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. But no, but
tried Mountain Dew.
I was quite literally a movie critic.
Yeah.
For about a year, 2011 to 2012, or was it I believe it was 2010 to 2011.
That's cool. How many movies did you do?
120 something.
You did 120 movies in a year?
No, in a year and a half. It was no.
God,
no.
Nuh-uh.
I saw every movie as it came out, even the crappy ones.
Did they pay to let you see it?
They gave me a free movie and they paid me $11 an hour.
Damn. Wish I could do that.
I was laid off from it, but yeah, it was a nice company, nice everything.
I'd do that.
Essentially, it was the 2.5 hour movie, and then about 3 hours of writing a review of it, and rating.
Did they make you be super detailed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't the best writer either,
well,
but they let us use a computer.
That's the thing. When you're a critic, you have to, and I think that's one of the reasons why you actually have issues with critics, is they have to look at it from that angle. They have to look at it from, is this a good film? Not, is this a good movie? Is this a fun movie? They have to look at it from the perspective of, does the story in this movie actually make a lick of damn sense?
And I was one of them. And I did that for so long. And I refuse to do it anymore on any bounds.
That's fair, because when you look at things from the critical, and there's a reason it's called critical, viewpoint, it takes enjoyment out of it for you.
Yes.
And I acknowledge that strongly because I view myself as a critic. And you just can't let those little things bother you. You just have to take the movie in as it is and then, admit its shortcomings, but still be able to admit that you enjoyed the thing.
I completely understand.
The thing.
I will say
Listen to me tripping over myself.
The last movie I reviewed for the company was X-Men's First Class.
I heard that's good.
I
have that on the shelf.
I was a critic for that movie. I put a review in. I
have that up on the shelf right now. Our buddy, who we played D&D at his house, he lent it to me.
Yep.
And I've yet to sit down and watch that. I watched Apocalypse. Oh boy, did I watch Apocalypse.
Oh,
It wasn't that bad. It was all right.
we flew off to the sidelines.
No, we're fine. We're fine. This is how this show should be. But the point being, Justice League came out. Viewers, according to DK's resources, viewers are enjoying the film.
It has an 84, correcting myself that I said earlier was an 86. It's 84.
Whereas critics are claiming that the film suffers heavily for lack of plot.
I don't know if they're saying heavily, but they are saying that it's taken.
It's got a 40-something.
Yeah.
That's heavily. You know? It's like, I'm not 100% familiar with the Rotten Tomatoes score, but I'm assuming that that's low.
It will change. There's been great movies that have had that. There's been several cases where the critics' review is completely different than what everybody else
Even
is.
the reviews that came out before the movie actually hit for the viewers and normal people, they were claiming this. So, like I've said before in previous podcasts, I had no faith in the Justice League movie. I'm not formulating an opinion in any way.
You hate DC.
I hate DC, and I hate the way that they're trying to handle their live-action movies.
I understand that.
I despise the way they're trying to handle it.
They are amazing at
animation.
Animated movies.
They are great with animated
they should just
movies.
stay with that.
Yes. And they're great with cartoons, when they have time to build on stuff.
Yeah.
But the movies,
Not so much.
they are. What did I say earlier today? I said Marvel's doing the universe thing, but they get it.
Yeah.
DC tried to jump into that same boat, but they don't get it, so they're messing it up. You know? It's like Marvel gets. We need to do the heroes the way they're supposed to be, and we need to do them seriously, do them right, and not try to force everything out at the same time.
Exactly.
DC? No, we're just going to do it because Marvel's doing it. And how often does that happen with those two companies?
A lot.
They jack each other so much. Mm-hmm. But that was...
it's a competition.
It is.
Everything is.
It is. That's why I like IDW. It's like, frankly,
We're just going to be over here.
Yeah, I'd rather go read...
Spawn.
I'd rather go read... Is Spawn IDW?
He's Dark Horse.
Dark Horse 2, though.
Yeah.
Dark Horse 2. I'd rather go over here and read Transformers and G.I. Joe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic books that are all really, really, really good stories. Especially those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics.
Oh, yeah.
They're great.
All
But
the
the
blood and gore.
Transformers-
All the blood and gore.
I love Transformers. It's my favorite hobby. And the comics are phenomenal. But my point for that was, I've said since DC started its live-action movies, I have no faith in the Justice League film. And so far, critical reviews, and even, the people who say they like it, who went to see it, they say the same thing the critics do. They're saying, it's a fun movie, I liked it, I would have paid money to see it, the characters were all really great, story was kind of lacking. It gives me no farther faith in the movie.
Well, we'll go see it, and we'll see if it was any good.
Yes, I look forward to seeing it. But I think that's all of our initial...
News
stories, so we can go ahead and move on to our top stories. Do you mind if I introduce this one?
Go ahead. But if you say it right off the bat, I'm smacking you over this.
Basically, two stories, one directly after the other, have been me saying, told you so.
No. Justice League, we did not say, it's going to be a good movie. I said, I'd watch it. That's all I ever said.
I know, but I said, I don't expect this movie to do very well, and as it stands right now...
It is doing well.
Is it doing well? How's its box office look? Don't say if you don't know.
I know. It's not failing in the box office.
Okay, well
it's doing pretty well at the box office. It's doing more. It's already doing more than Batman vs. Superman.
I would like to say that that's good news because I like to support films. I don't know if I want to support Justice League. We'll see. But until we figure that out. So Star Wars Battlefront 2 has been released.
Yes.
And everybody hates it.
They don't hate it so much as hate EA. Because EA sucks balls.
The game... Okay, so I've been vocally complaining about this since the first Battlefront game came out.
Yes.
The way the game was essentially a beta test version of a video game that they released quickly so that it could have a coinciding release date with
the movie.
So that it could come out before the movie. So they rushed it through production. It's not a game. It's 4 maps. That's not a game, especially when you compare it to the original Battlefront games.
Okay, the first one was. The second one has more maps, more everything. The thing that
but
people are hating
you have to pay for everything.
No, not for those. What everybody's mad about is unlocking heroes and the loot boxes. You don't have to unlock the maps. All the maps, which are more than triple the maps, from what I understand.
Is it microtransactions?
It's microtransactions.
Screw that!
It's either buy like $50 for one hero, or spend 4,000 something hours to unlock them all.
What the? Okay.
Yeah.
Saw that coming a mile away.
So did I.
Saw it coming. How many maps did you say it has? 8?
It has more than 8.
12?
It has like 12.
Okay. That's better.
From what I understand. I haven't played it because I haven't had the money to buy it.
I won't pay for this crap.
Well, I'm not gonna now.
But, like, better maps? I don't really understand why Battlefront feels the need to push the RPG element of introducing characters that you play as through the game.
No, it wasn't that. It was heroes for the multiplayer. Darth Maul, Luke.
No, I'm just talking
Darth
about
Vader.
the game in general.
Okay.
Where they introduced the chick with the stealth, like what's it called? Surveillance droid on her backpack? Like, I don't...
That's part of the story.
Sure. But part of the original games was you're playing as the 501st. You're playing as these faceless clone troopers who eventually become Darth Vader's personal guard. They don't need a name. They don't need character, especially when you're dropping every 5 minutes. You've got to get a new one. You know, that's what's happening is when you die, you're dead, and you roll up a new clone. Clone. When I say plone?
Plone. Plone.
The Plone Wars.
Oh.
I was a general in the Plone Wars. Anyway, my point being that Battlefront, How the Mighty Have Fallen.
Yeah, it's
That's my because I was a massive fan of Battlefront 1 and 2, and these games aren't Battlefront. They're just not.
I will say this, they have taken the loot boxes out.
They're movie tie-in games. We're getting Star Wars this Christmas, right? That's why that game got released. Yeah, that's why the game got released, and that's why nobody's putting any effort into it.
But what I'm saying is they did...
Other than to make money.
They did realize that everybody hated it, even though it's doing 40% worse in sales than the first Battlefront.
Which did not do well in sales either.
Sales.
I'm very happy that people have enough sense not to buy these games.
But they stopped with the progression or pay to win with Battlefront 2. They're trying to fix it. They're not gonna.
No.
I don't see it.
No, it's Star Wars. They don't have to. It's Disney. They don't have to.
Yeah.
If you want to play the game, you're going to do what we want you to do because it's Disney and it's Marvel and it's not Marvel. It is Marvel because Disney owns everything now. What was they buying? They were also buying Fox.
They're talking about buying Fox. Which is funny because Fox
should be afraid, people. That's the Illuminati right there taking over the world.
Fox
Triangles.
X-Men and Fantastic Four. The first comic
they also
book
own... Do they own Daredevil, or did Marvel get the rights back?
They have Daredevil. Marvel has Daredevil.
Did Marvel get Ghost Rider back, or did they negotiate to use Ghost Rider?
Negotiate, I believe.
Okay, I want to get Ghost Rider back too.
Yeah, I'd like to see a Netflix series of Ghost Rider.
If you did a series of Ghost Rider correctly, it would be awesome. It'd be
a
like
horror film.
It would be a horror thing, but it would also be like Constantine.
Yeah.
The Keanu Reeves Constantine.
Which Keanu Reeves is awesome in anything.
The Ghost Rider comics is a lot like Spawn comics, where he's fighting angels, he's fighting devils, he's
becoming God.
Yeah, well,
Spawn became God. He killed.
I don't know about Ghost Rider becoming God. Ghost Rider is a straight up demon possessing Johnny Blaze.
I think he became a. No, he didn't. He didn't get possessed by a demon. He became a demon.
He
sold his soul and became a demon.
A lot of these would like to see a good Fantastic Four.
Me too.
I liked the other Fantastic Four.
I don't like Fan Four Stick, and
I love Fan Four Stick.
I absolutely loved the first Fantastic Four movie.
I liked Fan Four Stick and I'm calling it that, not in a derogatory way. I liked Fan Four Stick up until the final act where they fought Doom.
Yeah, it was
because they did Doom wrong.
Yeah,
again,
they always do.
Yeah, the movie was good. It incorporated elements of horror, which I thought was really an interesting choice, but it was certainly something new.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't have expected someone to treat Fantastic Four with a horror element. By the way, we've talked about New Mutants already, which is just weirding me out, but yeah, they never do Doom correctly. Just do Doom correctly. I'm a big fan of Doom. I like the fact that Doom and Iron Man have fought on numerous occasions, usually over Excalibur. You know, they've traveled back in time and fought over Excalibur, and then they end up working together at the same time to fix a problem that has caused. So I like Doom. I wish someone would do a correct Doom, because even though Marvel's essentially taken the Fantastic Four and pushed them to the side because they don't own the rights, they're still using Doom.
Yes.
And they should, because Doom's awesome.
Victor Von Doom, enough said.
Doom is the premier Marvel villain.
He should be.
Yes. Now, he's right up there with Magneto's just as popular.
Yes.
And I don't know if he's dead or not, but that's why they killed Logan, is because they don't own the rights. So Wolverine is dead because we're not going to keep giving you publicity for this character who
we're trying to get back.
Yeah.
So now...
And it's that character specifically. But, yeah. Justice League, Battlefront, both things that I had zero faith in upon their release. Both things that are totally living up to my expectations for them.
Or lack thereof.
Upon their release. Whereas when I kept my expectations very low for Avengers, not only were they met, they were exceeded.
And surprised.
And that's why Avengers is one of my favorite movies. Just period. But, yeah, anyway. Disappointed!
Oh, God.
I like Kevin Sorbo.
Me too, just not in that.
I miss Kevin Sorbo. But I think that pretty much covers nerd news. Now we can go ahead and move on to main discussion topic.
Okay, so
I have made the decision to go ahead and experiment with moving the listener question to the end of the podcast.
I figured. Okay, so I want to go first.
Hit me with one, then you bounce it to me.
Okay.
I'll say one that I like, and we'll go back and forth. Again, our main discussion topic is mobile suits from Gundam that we like the designs for in particular.
In no particular order.
Yeah, we're not ordering these in, like, favorite to least favorite. These are just some that we really like.
My first one is Barbatos from Iron-Blooded Orphans.
The new one.
Yes, it is.
Haven't seen it yet. But...
Okay, so what the system it runs off is called a Vieres system.
Vieres?
Vieres. It's very hard to pronounce. They say it differently. It's a surgery that a individual gets, usually when they're young, that basically gets this piece of technology grafted into your neural processing network in your spine. And you have a 25% chance of living.
Okay.
The main guy has had this 3 times done.
Yeah, that explains why I've seen him bleeding from his eyes and stuff.
Yes. What happens is he logs himself into Barbatos, which is a Gundam, and all Gundams run off of that system. And
aren't they ancient?
Yes, they're ancient.
They've been around a while.
They can't remake them.
That comes back to Turn A. Turn A, the Gundams are artifacts that they dug up, essentially.
Exactly what it is. They were using it to run their base because no one could operate it.
So they were using it as a generator.
Nuclear generator.
That's pretty damn cool.
But he numerous times exceeds himself and he bleeds, and he actually loses control over at any use of his left arm. He gets it back when he gets hooked up to the machine, but if he's not, he doesn't get to use that arm.
Oh, that sucks.
I'm not going to spoil it, but the system is amazing.
Yeah, let's stick to the design.
The design
aspects.
It is
I like
so
the fact
sleek.
I like its design certainly because it's got those like talon feet almost.
Yeah, they're hook feet and hook fingers.
I know there are several versions of which you have model kits of.
I have 3 versions of him because he is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
The best part of him is that he has a grand maul. It's just
that big
the
Titan
weapon
thing.
He uses the most. It's a Titan maul, and it is just this giant hunk of iron that looks like a rose in space when he's flying around. So he's hitting people with a rose.
That's great.
And then on top of that, he has this thing hooked up with a cable. It's a dragoon essentially, but it doesn't shoot. It stabs them. So when in combat, he hits someone, they block. You just see this talon go into the cockpit and just kill the dude.
Oh, that's nice.
And there's multiple versions where
the Kyrios from 00 had a feature like that where it had a blade inserted onto the shield, and then the shield opens up into a claw. It actually led to one of the more sadistic scenes I've ever seen in a Gundam series.
Cutting someone in half.
It did cut someone in half. He got another machine with the claw of the shield, and then slowly inserted. It's a blade that extends.
Okay.
So he slowly extended the blade through the cockpit.
Oh man.
It was
gruesome.
It didn't really show it. Just, you hear the screams the guy makes and the way the pilot is taunting the guy. He's like, who are you screaming for? Your mother? Maybe a lover? And I'm like, oh my god, this is messed up. It really is. It's horrifying. But back to Barbatos.
Okay, so Barbatos, he also has basically no armor on his waist. At the earlier...
I've seen that it has a very skinny-looking spine.
Yes, it's made out of a tungsten steel type Gundanium alloy. It's really cool. They don't know the metal it's made out of, really, through most of the show. But it is just so amazing. And when the system activates, the green eyes that glow and leave the trace light behind is just beautiful. Do
the eyes leave after images?
Yes.
That's cool.
And that is my favorite thing of him is, and especially when he pushes himself to the limit to such a degree that he's hard to even see him move.
Yeah, 00.
And not in space.
00 does stuff like that.
On the ground.
00 does stuff like that. See, Destiny did stuff like that when they introduced Mirage Colloid, which I'll probably come back to Mirage Colloid a little later today.
Your turn. Throwing it to you.
So the first one, whenever somebody asks me, what's your favorite Gundam? Several come to mind immediately. The first one that I'm going to talk about is the Providence Gundam from Gundam Seed.
Yes.
This machine... First of all, it's called the Providence. It's called the Will of God. It's this bulky hulk of a machine. Larger than any of the other Gundams created in that era. Which is one of the reasons why I kind of get a little irritated when people try to release a more streamlined, sleek version of the Providence. I'm like, you're missing the point.
It's supposed to be big.
Yeah, it's supposed to be this hulking monstrosity because it's the final villain of the show. But also, the reason it has all of those dang thrusters all over it is to move the hulking thing around. But the Providence, it's called Will of God, it's got a backpack that's shaped like a giant cross. Which it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It has 11 what are called Dragoons, which are basically the fin funnels from the original Gundam series.
Okay, so independent
laser
cannons.
They launch off of its back and attack from all directions. 3 of them having probably some more like 4, 8, 9. 3 of them having about 9 beam weapons on each. It's got a shield. It's a very small shield that just completely encases its left arm. That has 2 very large beam cannons on it. And a beam saber that... It's an extra large beam saber. It's very big.
It's a great sword.
It's like a great sword if the great sword was coming out of your knuckles.
Wow.
Or more like 2 feet ahead of your knuckles.
Wow.
There are machines in Gundam Seed. Whoever has seen Gundam Seed, you've seen the meteors at the very end of the series. They're these large weapons platforms that have beam sabers the size capable of cutting through battle battleships. Take a step down from that, and you've got Providence.
Sounds brutal.
Its primary onboard weapon... Oh, it also has 2 beam weapons in its shoulders.
So it's just a floating arsenal.
It is.
Of death.
That's the point. It was created to defend Yakin Due. And Raul Le Creuset used it to murder people as much as possible during that final battle at Yakin Due.
Wow.
Its primary weapon that it holds in its right arm is a very large beam, either sniper rifle or cannon. It looks like a sniper rifle.
But it's more like a cannon.
I'm not gonna lie. It's large. It's shaped like you'd expect a cannon to be, but it's probably a sniper rifle. Which makes sense, given that Providence is a long-range machine. It has a very effective beam saber. But, yeah, it also has very large thrusters and runs off of not Mirage Colloid, listen to me. It runs off of phase shift armor. Which is, for anyone who's seen Star Trek Enterprise, it's a lot like their shields. Like, they don't have shields, they have hull integrity, or whatever it was called. I didn't actually watch Enterprise, but I know what they were getting across. It basically is armor through which you channel energy. All of the Gundams in Seed ran off of this, by the way, phase shift armor. You channel energy through the armor, and it makes it impenetrable. So that's a lot of fun, and it also gives a reason, like, the machines all start out kind of gray.
And then they get color.
Yeah, you turn on the battery, and it changes color.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, the Providence Gundam also has basically Le Creuset's mask on it, and it has elements of the RX-78 too, the first Gundam, in its design. So I love that, but I also love how bulky it is. And I like the fact that something that big and that fat can move that fast. Like, the backpack has these 2 huge boosters on it. And I'm like, the worst part of it is that it's equipped with a neutron jammer canceller to make all of this possible. In Gundam Seed, there are neutron jammers, which nullify all nuclear fission. Neutron jammer nullifies There's a neutron jammer canceller, which nullifies the neutron jammer. So the Providence Gundam...
cancel your cancel.
Yes, exactly. The Providence Gundam runs on nuclear power.
So it's unlimited.
Yeah.
Pleasant.
Which puts its tiers above most of the other machines in Seed, because all of the other machines in Seed are battery powered. It's one of the reasons why energy consumption of the machines was such an issue during the show. But,
except for the Strike Freedom and the Infinite Justice?
The Freedom and the Justice were both also nuclear powered, equipped with neutron jammer cancellers. And then when you got into Seed Destiny, both of those machines you just mentioned are also nuclear powered.
Yes.
There were a few more. But yeah, that's my first one.
Alright, so
Sorry, I just really like the Providence.
It's alright. My second one is a classic and custom. It is the Wing Zero custom from the movie Endless Waltz.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the Endless Waltz movie and you've seen Gundam Wing, watch it. It is essentially Wing Zero with a blue and white paint and giant angel wings.
Yeah.
That it wraps itself around to go get into an atmosphere. It goes through it, it covers itself in its wings. And what's really cool is that through most of Gundam Wing, he had ion boosters on his back. Well, the wings, each individual one has an ion booster in it. So not only is it has, instead of 2 large ion boosters, it has dozens of small ones.
Oh, really? Each wing has that in it?
Each wing at the
You mean
bottom,
the feathers?
Each feather.
That's pretty neat.
And it also gives it more maneuverability because each one has it at the end and the feathers move.
That's neat. I didn't know that.
It also
It got its ass kicked by Ultron anyway, but that's Wu Fei, and frankly, Ultron's kind of a pain in the butt when all you're equipped with is a beam saber, because it did not have its cannons.
It didn't have anything
when it was in
except for
space.
Beam Saber. He still beat Wu Fei though.
More like they decided to call it a draw, and Hero gave up. Hero essentially gave it because he let Zero fall. Because he basically goes into PTSD mode there for a moment. He's like, how many times do I have to kill her and her dog?
Yeah.
And just falls into the ocean. And Wu Fei's like, God, we're all so messed up.
He's not wrong.
He's not. He's
okay. Back to the system.
That's his point. But he recognizes that doesn't have to be... That doesn't have to be the way he approaches the situation, because there are people who are just as damaged as he is, and they don't feel the need to fight.
Okay, so my favorite thing also is that it has the Wing Zero system.
Yes.
The Zero system, which pushes the pilot to the limit and past it. Sometimes breaking their mind, but if you're strong-willed like Hero or Catra,
well,
you maintain it. Catra maintained it enough.
Catra...
He broke, but he came back.
Catra completely lost his shiz.
He came back from it, though.
It took Trolla dying.
So
Hi, everybody. We're talking about the Gundam series, and boy, do we have spoilers right now.
Pseudo-dying. He didn't actually die.
It was pseudo-death, yes. But
Okay,
it took Catra believing... I love talking about Gundam. We need to just have a segment where we discuss the series. Probably specifically Wing. We should sit down and watch Wing together and just discuss it later after we watch it.
We'll think about that. We'll talk about it. Alright, so that... I wanted to bring it up because that Wing Zero custom the mobility is insane.
The normal Wing Zero, or at least the, I think it's the version Kai.
K-A-I.
The Proto Wing Zero.
Yeah.
The way it looks in the Master Grade kit, that is one of my runner-ups for this list. I came kind of close to putting that there, and I was like, I'm gonna back off. But yeah,
I think we should do one more each. Well, two for you, one more for me.
No, I think we've got time.
Alrighty.
But yeah, we had 5 each, listeners. But
well, I didn't remember if we said we had 5 each.
I don't remember if we said it either. But
now you know.
Now you know. Suffice to say, this episode may run just a little long.
Not a big deal.
I tried to keep it about an hour, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I guess I can go ahead and talk about... This one's kind of my default favorite for a lot of reasons. The Tall Geese from Gundam Wing.
I can see that. That's one of mine.
Everyone loves the Tall Geese, but I love the Tall Geese for a different reason than why most people like it. There is art and beauty in its simplicity.
Yes.
It is a white machine with elements of gray, with a single red mohawk, and a gun and a shield. That's it. Super heavy boosters, that's what it's got going for it. And it's the most powerful machine in Wing up until the very end of Endless Waltz. And maybe the only mobile suit that survives all the way through. You never see the Tall Geese get destroyed.
You don't, but I do want to point out that it's not as powerful as Wing Zero's final one with ion boosters. Because even in the show, Trey says, I built a machine not knowing that it would exceed the one that I have. And not knows exact
in what?
words.
With regard to what?
When he helped rebuild Wing Zero, when it broke, Hiroyui detonated it.
Oh, Wing Gundam?
When he said he's not dead, we're gonna have a final. When he rebuilt him, he built it with an ion boosters, the same as Tall Geese. Well, later on they got the second
but that's
revamp.
That's Wing Gundam.
But I know I'm talking about Wing Gundam. Basically, they're on the same tier as equals. Tall Geese and Wing Zero. Towards the end.
Remember, Wing is it's a completely different machine from Wing Zero. Catra builds Wing Zero, whereas Wing Gundam shows up again at the end of the series, being piloted by Lady Anne.
I know. Yeah, I'm talking about Wing Zero.
Right. Oh, I see what you're getting a few things backwards. The doctors
say
that they designed when they designed Wing Zero. They said this surpasses all of our expectations. Now here's the thing: they said the exact same thing about Tall Geese, and which I find just a little bit more interesting. The Tall Geese has what is essentially a Proto-Zero system in it.
Yes.
It doesn't have the Zero system. The machine moves on its own, which is another reason why I really like it. It's got the wild stallion motif going on about it. I mean, that's not even subtle, that comparison, but it's very, this is a horse you have to break.
Yeah.
This white Mustang. And it's great. And it's also another reason why, the horse comparison, I like how it's got the mohawk, because it's like a mane.
Yeah.
It's like a mane. There are variants of the tall geese that I've seen. But yes, you are right. When they designed Wing Zero, they said, this is too destructive. I think Wing Zero was actually meant for Operation Meteor, because maximum collateral damage was the goal.
Yep.
And they're like, none of us are gonna build this. And they designed...
Then it was built.
They designed... Yeah, well, Catra did that without asking anyone. But Tall Geese was built as the first mass production base model for mobile suits. Hero calls it the prototype Leo at one point. That's exactly what it is. But...
It's so much better than a Leo.
It is... I maintain it's better than the Gundams. I do. Because at the end of that series, yes, Hero fought Wu Fei when they fell through the atmosphere. And he was damaged ahead of time because of a Gundam versus Gundam fight. But the other Gundams, in mint condition, fall to Earth and back up Zex during the events of Endless Waltz. And at the end of that battle, Tall Geese is untouched. Whereas the best, in my opinion, the best pilot of the series, Noin, is piloting a Taurus, and she is less damaged than the Gundams. She loses a leg. That's all. She loses a leg. Zex is probably the second best pilot in the series, but they verbally acknowledge in the series that Noin intentionally plays second fiddle to Zex to make him look good.
Yep.
So it's my personal belief. She's the best pilot in the show. And she's piloting a mass-produced unit and manages to, without killing anyone, take no damage other than losing a leg.
I'm not saying she's not
versus
awesome.
Tall Geese, an upgraded Tall Geese, using elements of... It's got an entirely new gun and the heat rod from Epion.
Yep.
It's got the Epion shield. An upgraded Tall Geese, but the Tall Geese nonetheless is untouched at the end of that battle, whereas the Gundams are falling apart. All three of them. In fact, I don't know how much... I don't recall how much damage Wu Fei takes versus Hero, but I'm pretty sure he's the only one that gets out of it mostly unscathed. Did he detonate?
No.
Are we sure he didn't detonate?
All the Gundams are detonated at the end.
Yes, I'm just trying... Wasn't it the 3?
No, they got all of them back, except for...
I know it was destroyed, I'm just not recalling when. Because I know Heavy Arms, Sandrock, and Death Scythe were all self-detonated at the same time.
Yes.
I don't recall what happened to...
Wu Fei
detonates it alone in the desert, doesn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah, he goes out to the desert and detonates it. But yeah, that's my argument for why Tall Geese is the most powerful weapon in Gundam Wing, and funnily enough, the only mobile suit, besides maybe Noin's Taurus, the only mobile suit that is not confirmed as destroyed.
Yes.
I would almost guarantee that when they go to Mars, they have Tall Geese with them.
Well,
I like the idea that Tall Geese is the one epic machine that just gets to go on and be left on Mars for future generations to find, like, the Barbatos.
Well, also they have another thing afterwards that's called the Wind Drop Destiny, which is...
You mean, oh god, what's it called? It's not called that.
Teardrop.
Something Sorrow. It is Teardrop. I think it's Teardrop. There is a Wing spin-off series.
Where
that's
it's all
sequel.
their kids. Trace has a... not Trace, but...
It's getting an animation.
Yes.
It is
I'm
getting an
looking forward to it
animation.
because Hero has a kid with the lady he's trying to kill the whole series, Arena. Believe it or not, Zex and Noin had a kid. Which
I believe that. I believe that more than I believe Hero and Relina had a kid.
Believe it or not, this one, Catra and the girl with the Thunderbolt eyebrows, I forget her name.
Yeah, no, I called that
Kathleen?
long ago. It's Dorothy.
Dorothy. They have a kid.
They're the couple. You know? They're the couple that took the whole series to kind of get together, because every character in that show, it's like you had a pilot, you had a corresponding scientist, and then you had the chick. And you know, Katra's the weird one because he didn't have the chick for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then he got Dorothy because he saw through her like all good INFPs should.
On top of that,
I'm an INFP.
Wu Fei has a kid with she's one of my
Sally.
sisters, Sally.
Yeah.
Which is fucking awesome. Pardon my language.
Sally
I was happy.
became his girl earlier on.
Yeah.
Oh, that was within the first couple of episodes. But yeah, the Gundam Wing was famous for the shipping.
Yeah. My first Gundam anime.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite, as you can tell.
It goes back and forth on whether or not Kans is Zex's scientist, or if it's Howard. But whichever one of those doesn't really go with the other, goes with Trey's. You know, Trey's had Lady Un, and he had either Kans, or probably Kans, if you wanted to use Kans. But yeah, that was Tall Geese. I believe you wanted to mention Mercurius and V8 as a runner-up.
Not a runner-up. My runner-up is Epion.
Epion?
Epion's cool and all, but
I'll mention Mercurius and V8 just as
I
wingmen machines for the Tall Geese.
I am saying it's V8 and Mercury is my third slot together because their machines made to be run together. Mm-hmm. One's the shield guy, one's the assault guy, and it is amazing and beautiful how these machines work. Mm-hmm. They both have the zero system in them.
Do they?
They do. They have.
Are you sure?
They have a lesser version of the zero system in them.
I don't recall that, but I'll trust you.
And on top of that, they're made out of Gundanium.
Yes, they are. They are technically Gundams.
They are technically Gundams. They are one of my favorite.
But then so is Tall Geese at that point.
He is a Gundam to me.
Yeah.
He is one. The Vade and Mercury is one of my favorite brother systems.
Yes.
Through the whole thing, and I'm in love with them.
Well, Oz has kind of a Zodiac, not even subtle. They have a Zodiac system for machines, and to me, Mercurius and V8 are Gemini.
Yep.
Because they don't have a Gemini thing, you know. They're the Gemini twins, and they make such good. Not that we ever get to see this. They are good partners, but they would have made some of the most phenomenal wingmen for the Tall Geese.
Yes.
And they've got the whole red, white, and blue motif going on together. It's kind of neat.
Merca.
Yeah! But yeah.
Okay, so that's V8 Mercury. There's not much to the system except for Mercury has a giant shield. V8 has a big cannon.
Yeah, Mercurius has a shield. First of all, it's got like a
floating shield.
It's got like a buckler on its arm that becomes a sword.
It has a buckler that has a laser, a small laser dagger that comes out of the.
Yeah, it's got a beam saber in it.
It has a beam saber in it,
and then the shield is comprised of a bunch of small satellite beam shield generators, which can surround the machine.
And that's on his back and on his shoulders.
And then,
And later in the system, in the show, you see the lesser versions where the machines are walking around, the mobile dolls, with 3 of them on their shoulders, and they'd pop out.
Yeah, and the Virgos.
Yeah. So that's mine. You're up.
And V8 has the big-ass cannon.
Yep. Because in America, especially in Texas, bigger is better.
La 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 la.
That's creepy.
But...
So what's your next one?
Yeah... So I've got one that some might call kind of an emo-looking machine. I always liked it. I just do. It's the Goldframe Amatsu Mina Custom.
Okay.
From Gundam Seed Astray. From the Gundam Seed Astray manga.
That's the one that is not affected by lasers, right?
Okay, here's the thing. I go back and forth on this. This may be canon. It may not be canon. I'm pretty sure this is canon. So there's Heliopolis, and you had the original 5 Gundams built at Heliopolis for Gundam Seed. There were 3 more Gundams there that Orb was trying to develop at the same time.
Okay.
That is what the Seed Astray comics are about. You follow red frame, blue frame, yellow frame, actually gold frame, which is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the gold frame. Very early on, the gold frame loses its arm. It goes for a good chunk of those mangas without its right arm. And then when it gets to Earth, they jury-rig the Blitz's lost right arm. Because in the fight with the Strike and the Blitz, the Strike cuts off the Blitz's right arm. And they staple it to the gold frame. They change its color scheme. They make it black and gold with some red. I love the design. Later it gets damaged farther, loses its legs. They rebuild it to include what is essentially spiked high heels that you can kick somebody with, and it'll pierce the suit. It's got these huge wings that use Mirage colloid particles. First of all, the machine can turn invisible.
Yep.
Which was funny because when it first got the new arm, the Mirage colloid system comes from the Blitz. It comes from the Blitz, and that's what allowed it to turn invisible. So when it went into combat with people who knew it was missing an arm, it left the arm invisible. So it had an arm that was a weapons platform, because that's what the Blitz's right arm is. It's got a shield that is also a beam rifle, a beam saber, and 3 mini missiles. So it has this arsenal that's just invisible, and they don't know it's there.
That is insane.
It goes into battle like that, and obviously
everybody's surprised.
It's going to take people off guard. But later it gets the Mirage colloid installed in the entire suit, allowing the entire suit to turn invisible. It gets a backpack system, which look like these giant sadistic bat wings that can flip over its shoulders and latch into... They can hook into another mobile suit and drain its battery and put that power into the gold frame's battery.
So it never has to worry about battery.
It's a vampire.
That is insane.
The machine is a vampire, and I'm not 100% sure on the armor, like I said a moment ago, but I believe it uses phase shift armor over beam reflective gold armor.
That is awesome.
So even if you manage to get through what is essentially impenetrable armor with energy flowing through it, if you're using a beam weapon...
Still pointless.
Yeah. Like, the whole thing is, you need solid shell ammunition to get through phase shift armor. No, wait. You need beam weapons to get through phase shift armor, to damage phase shift armor.
Yep.
You need solid shell ammunition to get through the gold armor. And basically, on top of all of that, the machine's invisible. So you have to find it first, then you've got to hit it with beam weaponry, and then you need to be lucky enough for your machine to also have solid shell ammunition to get through the beam reflective armor. This thing is untouchable. Now again, I might be wrong about some of this stuff.
A railgun would get it. It is
you
both
can
energy.
see it.
Yes.
That's the best part. It's like, this thing's invisible, and it has what is called arresters in its wings, which are essentially daggers that it pulls out and throws at you.
Oh, wow.
That then are on wires that pull you back toward it so that it can hook into you.
Oh, wow.
So
It's vindictive.
Gold is one of my favorite colors. The design, again, it is the Astray Gold Frame Amatsu Mina Custom. Which, but it's also got a couple of interesting weaponry for the left arm. Specifically, it's got a new integrated weapon system pack, which is also like, it's a beam shield, it's a beam... What do you call it? It's like a rocket pole with a sharp triangle on the end. I can't describe it. It's also on a whip.
Oh, well, okay then.
But, yeah, gold frame. One of my favorites. What's yours?
Number 4, I'd have to say, is the Heavy Arms Custom from the Endless Waltz.
I like that one. When I've seen it in red, I don't like it as much.
It wasn't in red, and it's not supposed to be in red. It's supposed to be blue and white.
I know. I like the original color scheme.
I do too, but the thing about it is that I like about the...
I like the custom in blue,
yes.
Which is what I'm saying. It's like, the custom in red does not look like Heavy Arms. At least we know it's supposed to be in blue.
Yes. And in custom, I like it so much because it has not one double stacked Gatling gun, but 2 on each arm. And then on top of that, it has missile pods in its legs, thighs, chest, stomach, shoulders, around his shoulders, and forearms.
It's like the Strike Freedom, but with solid shell ammunition. They could take the gold frame together.
Yes, they could. They would destroy it.
Well, they have to find it.
There's enough ammo between the two of them.
Do you know that the Death Scythe can do that too? It took me the longest time to actually recognize that it wasn't just some sort of art portrayal they were going for. The Death Scythe can actually turn invisible. That's its main feature.
Yes.
I did not immediately recognize that that's what it was doing. I think it's the Death Scythe Hell that actually does it.
Yes, Death Scythe Hell.
Yeah, I think the normal Death Scythe is just invisible to radar.
Yes.
I think they might all be invisible to radar. I don't know.
No, Wing Zero is definitely not.
Okay. Well, Wing Zero's different, but...
Well, a lot of them aren't, because they're always talking about how we have... It's Gundam 003. And,
right.
You know, that which is heavy arms. But
I love heavy arms. I really do.
Too. So, and I've seen him just unleash everything. And it's a couple hundred missiles and just endless amounts of machine gun ammo. And it is beautiful. It is a rain from hell that should always be.
I really do love Wing. I didn't want to put too many. I've mentioned 2 from the Seed series. But, you know, I didn't want to pull a bunch from the same series.
Technically, I have 4.
From Wing?
Yeah. Because I talked about Wing Zero, I talked about...
and even your runner-ups are
my
Wing.
2 customs, my runner-up, which is Epion, and then my Vade and Mercury.
Epion's fun, but Epion is flawed, given that it is a purely melee machine.
Yes, and that is why he is a complete runner-up.
It's also a pain in the butt to fight in Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah. Okay, so it's your turn for your second to last.
All right. Well, I've got the Delta Gundam Kai. So, backstory. In Zeta Gundam, the second show is the sequel to the original Gundam series. Zeta Gundam. There is a machine piloted by Quattro Bagina, who is actually Char Aznable, called the Hyakushiki. It is a gold machine, possesses beam reflective armor, and dual wields on occasion double golden beam sabers.
Really?
This machine was the base model for the Delta Gundam. The Delta Gundam would have looked very similar to the Hyakushiki, but would have used elements of the Zeta Gundam to transform into a Wave Rider mode. Basically become a space fighter jet. That was scrapped because of the same reason that in later series they rushed the new Gundam through production instead of finishing it to its completion and building the high new Gundam in Char's counterattack. They scrapped it to rush it through production. They got rid of the transformation aspect of it, and they just kept the beam reflective armor.
Okay.
And built it and gave it to the AU, which was a rebel force in Zeta Gundam. Taking that to the next level, the Delta Gundam, which is a machine that never existed, they scrapped it and they made the Hyakushiki instead. Taking the Delta Gundam base design, jump forward about 40 years in the timeline, they then recycled the design to create the Delta Plus, which was a machine that appeared in Gundam Unicorn, piloted by Riddy Almark.
Yes, I know it.
That was essentially the version of the Delta Gundam that scrapped the beam armor idea and just stuck with the Wave Rider form.
Okay.
Jump a few years backwards. There was the Delta Gundam Kai. It's from I think it's from Gundam Unicorn MSB.
Okay.
It is the Delta Gundam minus the beam reflective armor, made up as a Gundam. It's got like the V-fin, it's in blue and white. It's got the whole thing going for it. Whereas I don't think that the actual Delta Gundam itself had a V-fin. It's equipped with a Psycho frame, allowing anyone, new types or normal people, to pilot it. It's equipped with 2 Dragoons that launch off of its back and can be remotely controlled. It transforms, is equipped with a high-powered beam sniper rifle, one of the biggest I've seen, and has a shield, which becomes the forward part of the Wave Rider mode, that you can mount a variety of different accessories onto, but where it also holds 2 beam sabers, and on occasion a very, very large, basically like single-shot bazooka cannon. That
is an arsenal.
You know, Wing Zero's gun?
Yeah.
It shoots that.
Once.
I don't know if it's once. I really don't. It's this
massive energy blast.
It's the thing that mounts underneath the shield for the model kit.
Okay.
It's a huge-ass Scylla cannon. But it also transforms into a Wave Rider mode. Like the other 2 designs that are based off of it. The machine is probably the machine that I would pilot. If I could pilot a machine, if I wasn't going to drive the gold frame.
Okay.
These are all kind of machines that I would pilot.
Everybody wishes they could
I
pilot
wish I would
Gundam.
pilot, so you can think of it like that. It's like, if I were to pilot a Gundam, I'd probably end up inside one of these of my list.
I want to go to Japan. They have a life-size Gundam.
Well, they had one in China, too.
I know.
It was a terrible, terrible ripoff.
Yeah.
I think it had like a mustache. It's not Turn A. It's not the Turn A Gundam. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure it had a mustache.
I definitely want to go to Japan. But one of the reasons is I want to see that. I want to take a picture.
I want to go to China to see the fake one. Yeah, the model kit, the real grade RX-78 too, first Gundam, was based on that. The giant statue?
Really?
It was based off of those proportions. But yeah, the Delta Gundam Kai, I like the color scheme. I like the weapons loadout. I like the fact that it transforms. I like the fact that it looks like a Gundam. And frankly, it's got wing elements in its aesthetic. Makes it look kind of angel-y. Yeah, it's a pretty design. What's your next one?
Strike Freedom.
Well, sure.
Several.
You went from heavy arms to Strike Freedom.
Yeah.
Let me just spam you with missiles and beams.
Strike Freedom.
Beam spam!
Is my favorite because not only does he have a giant beam cannon that is the size longer than the machine itself, it actually has several, I believe it's 8 Dragoons.
That cannon breaks apart into 2 smaller beam rifles, too.
I know. And so he can dual wield or shoot one massive beam blast like like the Wing Zero's beam cannon.
It's also got hip-mounted railguns.
Yes, it does. It also has a energy pack on its back
that uses Mirage colloid particles for propulsion.
Yep. And it is nuclear powered.
Yep.
So I would like
These are beam shields, by the way. The red things on its bucklers. Those are beam shields.
Yep, to block from blasts.
Yeah.
And that's my last one. Look up these. They're amazing. The art is amazing. They're just impeccable machines that we all wish were real.
Yeah.
And I will pass it on to you for your last one.
I mean, Strike Freedom's just a cool one in general. It's also got that Scylla cannon in the stomach.
Yep.
And
it
leaves
he
after.
Wants the Gallagher.
It leaves after images because of the Mirage colloid propulsion system. Because Mirage colloid is like Minovsky particles from the original Gundam. It's the Deus Ex Machina science for explanation why this stuff's possible.
Yeah.
But my last one, my final honorable mention is probably the new Gundam and the High New Gundam.
Yep. You've talked
and
about
when I talk about my last one, you'll understand why. My last one is the Reborn's Gundam from Gundam 00. that thing... Okay, it's just a cool-looking machine, and when you play it in Dynasty Warriors 3, it's very fun the way you fight with it, because it's doing, like, these 360s all the time, because of the way the machine works. Here is how it works. When it is in Gundam form, it is essentially the new Gundam. Or the high new Gundam, depending. It's got aesthetic choices from both. But its primary feature is that it turns around 360 degrees and it becomes a different mobile suit. It has a different mobile suit transformation integrated into its back. So it can cover both directions. But the alternate form that it has is a gun cannon from the original Gundam series. So, and the voice actor in Japan is the same guy that voices Amuro Ray. So just think about that. It looks like the original Gundam a little bit. It is so much of a callback because the voice actor's the same guy. The machines he piloted in Gundam were the gun cannon and the new Gundam. It's just cool looking. It's this big red silhouette that turns around and unleashes hell upon its enemies through all of its guns. Because the guns, when it's in the Gundam form, the guns fly off and attack you from all directions. When it's in gun cannon form, it just stands there like a turret and fires. So concentrated. Bless you.
Excuse me. That came out of nowhere.
But it's, it wasn't a machine I initially liked. It is certainly piloted by the villain. But I'm alright with that, because I like Providence. And Rally Crusade is frankly one of the most irredeemable assholes you'll ever meet in a Gundam series.
I don't even want to meet him.
You've seen Seed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sadly.
But yeah, Reborn's Gundam.
Seed was good. Destiny was horrible.
Well, yeah.
Halfway through, after.
Yeah, no. That's my stance, is that it's good for about 3/4 of the show, and then falls apart.
Okay, so those
are... Yeah, Reborn's Gundam / Reborn's Canon, those are, that's my last one.
So those are our 5 in no particular order of each, what we prefer. They're awesome. Leave a comment and let me know what you guys think your favorite Gundam is.
Yeah, what are y'all's favorite Gundams?
And I believe we have listener questions now. We
have a listener question.
Okay.
Yeah, it is, what is our favorite classes in Dungeons and Dragons?
Okay, so...
what are our favorite classes in Dungeons and Dragons?
You start off this one.
I've covered this.
That's why it's a listener's question.
Yeah.
Not too much into it.
Yeah.
We love listener questions. Thank you for submitting them. This one was an actual submission.
But yeah, I like the Ranger.
Revised?
Revised, yes. Certainly revised, but certainly revised. The original Ranger was broken and useless to a point, at least in 5th edition, but I've always played Rangers. It doesn't matter what edition I'm playing. I've always played a Ranger before I started going into spellcasting classes and dabbling in Sorcerer. Ranger was my go-to class. And, you know, they're just jacks of all trades. They cover everything really well.
Yep.
It is dependent a bit on your stats. You need to have acceptable stats to make sure your character is playable, but that's true of anything.
Yep.
If you play your cards right, especially in 5th edition, you can have a Ranger who... Usually, I dump Charisma. So you're not going to get that unless you... That's kind of my opinion. It's like, if you want a battle-ready character who has some good skills and generally excels in a variety of departments, play a Ranger. They're also pseudo-casters, so you have access to some spells.
Yep.
They're not all very good spells.
A lot of them aren't.
Like, let's be honest, some of the Ranger spells really, 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 really suck. But I feel the Ranger opens itself up for multi-classing into a spell-casting class very well.
Yeah. It's considered a spell-casting class, too, because it's
a pseudo-caster. But yeah, I love the Ranger class. I always come back to the Ranger class. I'm actually experimenting with... I'm trying to get a Ranger off the ground for 5th edition who is a dual wielder, which I haven't really tried before. They're so good with bows I'm not a melee fighter. I just never have been. I'm trying to make that happen.
Fair enough.
So we'll see how that goes. I'll let everyone know. It's for a game that's sort of on hiatus right now. Frankly, that's DK's game, but
yeah, fair enough.
We will see how that's going.
Okay, so mine is Thief, but more so, not just Thief, Arcane Trickster. It's essentially the same as a monk, but they can use weapons. Mm-hmm. And they get spells.
Monks can use weapons, by the way.
Yeah, but they can use more than just the specified
there's
finesse weapons.
Yeah, there are specific weapons that monks have to use.
It's finesse weapons, essentially. Monk is very almost tied for my favorite. Mm-hmm. But it is Thief, Arcane Trickster, because you get spells such as Illusions and, Unseen Servant. And they're all just very good to play that stealthy, I get in, stab, you get out. But you can't really play a good Thief nowadays without poison. And in 5th edition, poison's lacking.
There's poison. It depends on your DM. I won't use poison in my games.
Yes, I know.
I will allow the players to have the capacity to make it with the right materials, maybe? I go back and forth on that, even. Yeah. I'm just not a big fan of having to keep track of your ongoing damage from poison. And you have to have cures. But more to the point, if you're going to if you're going to run a lower magic setting, poison's not magic, but I put it on tier with healing potions. As far as its effectiveness, it does the opposite thing, but they're kind of neck and neck for me. I've never played a Thief. I take it back. My very first D&D character for 4th edition was a Thief. Okay. He was a rogue, not a thief, but nevertheless, that was how Iggy started out.
Oh, okay.
My 4th edition ranger, my first long term.
You're broken ranger.
He was broken mentally, but he was also broken mechanically because I'll mess you up.
Yeah. Well, that was our favorite classes.
Yeah, that was a fun listener question, and I got to touch on the fact that I did get to run my first session of my D&D game.
It was cool. I already have a...
He has a kill. He has you drew first blood.
And I also have the skull of our main enemy that the campaign started on. I took his head, cleaned it out, had it metal plated, and I drink from it. Metal.
Yeah.
That's a little metal.
That was what I said. That's metal. And I'm like, I'm hearing you describe it right now, and I'm like, I regret this. I regret allowing this. They were fighting this super baddie, and that's where the game starts. Is they have defeated the baddie.
Cougar King.
He killed the hero king of the setting that all the NPCs were very close with.
And my character is close to him to the point of being friends with him since the age of 11.
Yeah, y'all are bad.
They're like 33 now.
Yeah, the king died at 33.
So I knew him for 20 years. 21 years.
Oh, Lord.
My friendship with him was illegal enough to drink. And he killed my friend.
And did they?
So I took his head. I got it steel plated.
You took his head. You took his head. You cleaned it out. You got it encased in steel, and now you use it as a cup and belt buckle.
Yep.
Help me.
And I'm also an Oni.
It's alright. It's alright. It's all gonna be alright.
Well, my NerdDians, this is the wrap up for now. I'll let Ozpin do it.
I've still not got the hang of this.
Okay, then I will do it, and you will follow in my place. This is DK.
And this is Ozpin.
This is Nerddom. You're always welcome in the kingdom of Nerddom. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We'd love a listener question again.
Please.
We've only gotten one, but that one meant a lot.
Yeah. And
I hope you guys are just enjoying this. If you want any topic in particular, you can PM us directly by the About column on the page.
Yes, please, by all means, give us Give us things you'd like to hear us talk about as the main discussion on the show.
Also, if you're a fan of fun facts, I have that series going right now, and if you want me to cover anything in comic books or nerdiness, tech, or anything, let me know what you want me to cover.
Star Trek. Do a Star Trek one.
Maybe after the comic books.
Yeah, haven't you finished Justice League? Are you wrapping up the Justice League?
And then I'm going Marvel.
You're going Marvel, you're going to go Avengers?
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Alright, love you, NerdDians. This is DK, and that is Ozpin. You're always welcome in the kingdom of nerdom.
Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. This is every Wednesday. What time do they usually get out?
They come out Wednesday at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.?
in the morning.
Cool. Awesome. Well, look forward to that every Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Salutations.
Have a good one.